You know, I'm seeing a trend here of comedic actors turning to horror, and I like it. Now, in The Rental, we follow two couples. They decided they're going to get away and enjoy the weekend and decide to book this beautiful, gorgeous Airbnb for the weekend. But when they get there, they notice, well, their landlord, well, he's kind of creepy, might be racist, and, well, he might also be a peeping Tom. Now, The Rental actually comes from comedic actor Dave Franco, one of, the Francos, James Franco, his younger brother, my personal favorite Franco. Yeah, well, he's now stepping into director's chair, and this is his directorial debut, and it comes from IFC Midnight. Like, can we also just say that IFC Midnight is having one hell of a year? Like, thank you. In this terrible, terrible 2020, they are keeping me very entertained, and I'm very thankful for that. So I was really looking forward to checking out The Rental because actor turned director, that's always a very fascinating thing because, especially people like Dave Franco who have a little bit of, celebrity status and have done a couple of things. It's always interesting to see what they've learned from on set and where they have adapted on behind the camera. I honestly think Dave Franco did a really solid job with The Rental. There's a lot about this movie that I really, really like. There's a few quibbles that I have with it, but overall, I definitely think The Rental is worth renting. First and foremost, what I really like about this movie is a lot of the themes and ideas that this movie taps into. First and foremost, the fear of booking an Airbnb. I mean, isn't it kind of creepy how a lot of us, myself included, tend to book our places now in random people's homes, people we don't know, simply because they have a few really good solid reviews and they're cheaper than booking a hotel? I love that this movie really taps into that fear, and the whole peeping Tom aspect is really well done because all of these characters have their own little quibbles, their own little red herrings, and if this peeping Tom is getting the footage that he's getting, it could also self-destruct their own lives. And I like the sort of heavy psychological dynamics that all of that plays into. I'm a massive Dan Stevens guy, so of course Dan Stevens stuck out the most for me. I thought he was really interesting in how he sort of walks that gray area of, well, this is just his character. That's just how he acts, We all have jobs, and we all know that one person. So I felt like that aspect of the movie was very, very fascinating. And I liked how this movie played around with a lot of that stuff. Also, the peeping Tom stuff is very Rear Window, but it doesn't feel like it's just mimicking and copying, and I really like that as well. Now, the movie does take a shift in this final act of this film, and I'm a bit disappointed to see so many reviewers on here kind of spoiling where that shift goes. Thank goodness I didn't watch any reviews because I kind of had a guess of where it might be going, but even then, I was glad that I didn't know because I actually really liked the final act. I thought it was mean-spirited, nasty, and very tense and brutal, and everything I felt like a final act should have been. Now, granted, I don't think everyone's going to like that because I think they'll feel like it degrades the movie. I hate that when people think a certain subgenre is degrading for the overall genre. I'm just not a fan of that. But I actually really like the final act of this movie, particularly in the closing moments are where it really stings and actually kind of bursts with all these sort of conversations you could have and will definitely make you think twice about that Airbnb you want to book in the future. Now, granted, I do think the movie opens up a lot of really cool, interesting ideas, but doesn't really know exactly how to say it. I think some of the things, I think the Airbnb stuff is really well executed, but sometimes you'll have these sequences that are really cool and entertaining, and I wish it would have just dived a little bit further, and I think that Franco kind of might have bit off just a little bit more than he could chew in terms of thematic messages and stuff like that, but overall I really appreciated the effort. While they do attempt a few comedic moments, particularly one with rocks, it didn't really work for me, especially when majority of the tone is more serious. These few comedic breaks just didn't really add up for me. I get you want to deflate tension and stuff like that, and sometimes in comedy is the best instrument to use for that. You have to know the perfect timing, and the timing just never felt right in where the comedy bits kind of were dropped at. Overall, I found The Rental to be a really solid directorial debut from Dave Franco, and if he wanted to make more genre films, I would definitely be open to watching them. I thought the cast does a great job. I love how the film taps into the fear of paranoia, and the shift that this movie takes in the final act, while it won't be for everyone, I personally had a really good time with the final act and found it very tense and engaging. As the score goes, I'm going to give The Rental a 3.5 out of 5. So you guys, have you seen The Rental? Let me know in the comment section below what you think of this movie. Thought it was pretty solid. Also, you guys, I'm on all social media platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, even on TikTok. All my stuff is in the description box below. Also, I'm currently moving, so forgive me if, the background for a lot of these videos looks a little bit different. My house is a literal mess. It's covered in boxes. And, I'm going to try to keep putting out reviews as much as I can. So, until next time, you guys, I'm the Slashy Movier, and you guys have just been slashed.